So for this video I'm going to have a look through the heavyweight division and discuss who I believe to be the current top 10 fighters in that division. Obviously this is subjective, but I'll give my reasoning for each one, and at the end we'll compare it to the current BoxRec rankings for that division. So at number 10 I have Kubrat Pulev. Pulev is currently the mandatory challenger for the IBF title and was due to face Anthony Joshua on the 20th of June. Though due to the current crisis this has been pushed back to possibly September or even later. He has beaten Derek Chisora and Fury in recent years. His only loss in his career came to Vladimir Klitschko, so very good resume and may have a better chance against Joshua than many believe. At number 9 I have Luis Ortiz. Ortiz hasn't fought since his November 2019 title fight with Deontay Wilder. In that fight I had him winning on points easily until he was caught by Wilder's power for the second time. He's now 41, or at the very least he is 41 anyway, so he may be on the way down now. However, given his performance until the knockout by Wilder, I still think he'd be a real challenge for any fighter. At number 8 I have Joseph Parker. After losing to Anthony Joshua and Dillian Whyte, Parker has picked up 3 wins against average opposition. We'll need to see him against a big name again to see him climb the rankings. However, before Anthony Joshua's rematch with Andy Ruiz, he was the only fighter to beat the Mexican, so he has the ability. At 7 I have Alexander Usyk, the unified cruiserweight champion. Do I think that on his night he could win a heavyweight championship? Yes, I think he undoubtedly has the ability to do so, but I need to see him against the top heavyweight first to move him any higher on this list. Yes, he did beat Tony Bellew, who has fought in his last 2 battles of David Haye at heavyweight, but Bellew is a natural cruiserweight, and his first fight at heavyweight against Chaz Witherspoon didn't look incredibly impressive, so we'll wait and see there. For number 6 I have Alexander Povetkin. I still think Povetkin is very dangerous despite now being 40. He lost to Anthony Joshua 2 years ago, but looked dangerous at times. He then faced Fury and won a very lopsided unanimous decision. I expect many on Fury's side were hoping that beating Povetkin, despite his advancing years, would put his career back on track, but it wasn't to be. And then he faced the up-and-coming Michael Hunter, whose team were looking again at Povetkin as someone who was a big name, but would be beatable given his years. However, this ended up in a split decision draw, so he still has it and still keeps defying everyone. At number 5 it's Dillian Whyte, and for a while, until Andy Ruiz came along and beat Joshua, I had him at number 4. He is the holder of the WBC interim heavyweight title and has been a number 1 contender for a while now. That man deserves a title shot more than anyone in the heavyweight division. Some question his style and ability, but you can't say that he doesn't put it all on the line. He's fought everyone he's been asked to in order to consolidate his position. Over the past few years he's beaten Robert Helenius, Derek Chisora, Lucas Brown, Joseph Parker and most recently Marius Foch. Deserves his spot at number 5. Number 4 I have Andy Ruiz Jr. Here by justice of being so recently a champion. Could he remain a top contender, or will it remain a one-off that he beat Anthony Joshua? He has the ability, but does he have the attitude? He now has a new trainer who can hopefully keep him in the gym, so I think it's all down to keeping that discipline really. If he can get in better shape, then his fast hands could give him a serious chance of winning a title. Again, time will tell here. At 3 I have Deontay Wilder. Now beltless, he has to be down in number 3. Despite his technical issues and his thorough defeat at the hands of Tyson Fury, we all know that one punch of his, if landed correctly, can take anyone out. So he's still there, he's still dangerous, and until his speed leaves him when he gets older, he's a serious contender to regain a title. At number 2 I have Anthony Joshua. He does hold the majority of the heavyweight titles and managed to reinvent his style for the Ruiz rematch. However, he looked shaky in that fight. Every time Ruiz did actually come forward, Joshua looked a bit nervous or unsteady. He needs to work to get back to the unmatched presence he was a few years back. So there's only one man he's behind, and that is no other than Tyson Fury. Still unbeaten, and really shouldn't even have that one draw on his record. The best boxer, you could obviously say, in the division. Maybe not the heaviest puncher, but he sure hit Wilder hard. And with that, that he's shown the ability to mix up his game, going on the offensive in that fight instead of working on the back foot like usual. It was a masterful display. There are preliminary discussions going around that a fight could be set up against Anthony Joshua, and that would surely cement either of those as number one, dependent on the result. I have a few who I'd like to name who were close to the top 10 but just missed out. Derek Chisora has had a resurgence in recent years, and after beating Carlos Takam has put himself back in the frame for a big fight. I'd have Michael Hunter around there too. He had a draw with Alexander Povetkin, so can mix it up at this level, but back at cruiserweight was resoundingly beaten by Usyk, so you have to wonder if he is good enough to go all the way. I would also have had Adam Kaunatsky in there, who was looking dangerous until he was recently beaten by Robert Helenius, so either one of those two is close to my top 10. Looking at the BoxRec rankings at the moment, there are a few notable differences between my list and this. Wilder above Joshua is notable, given one is a multiple champion and the other has no belt at all at the moment. BoxRec also have Usyk in number 4, although this makes sense given how their points are based and his recent domination of the cruiserweight division. Povetkin, Ruiz and White exchange places but are still close. BoxRec has Michael Hunter at 8, though he hasn't really fought anyone of great recognition yet, apart from Povetkin for the draw. They also have Derek Chisora at 9, who for me wasn't far off the top 10, and is always there or thereabouts. Things are exciting for the heavyweight division at the moment, with so many great fighters, and I'm really excited for what's to come later in the year, hopefully anyway. Well, that's all from me, so hope you enjoyed the video. Take care everyone.